Hi there. Assuming this works, we're now live with the short Banter Blitz session as uh, part of the Steinitz Memorial warm-ups. I have a lot of challenges already. I'm not going to be able to do them proper justice. I was told that it should be limited to maybe 3 games, but I'll try to make those 3 count somehow. Not sure how. Let me see if there's any Magnus Carlsens lurking in the list, but doesn't seem so. Um, so yeah, let's go. Kind of excited to be playing so much online chess again. Apart from doing the banters, I've been kind of away. I don't know why I played 5d3. 5d3 is not that great. I suspect it was more of a mouse sleep than anything else here. Not the, I mean, it's not a mistake as such, but I was planning to go 6d3, uh, and uh, and then couldn't couldn't operate the mouse properly. So as I was saying, there seems to be, for obvious reasons, quite a lot of online chess to play these days, and um, after the first uh, period when I was clearly struggling to remember how it's done, I'm now back to, I think, enjoying it quite a bit. The Steins Memorial Field is very strong, though. I'm going to be, I think, well, I always say that, and I always get a lot of hell for saying that, but uh, I still feel in that field I'm probably not a favorite. But it's a very exciting field to play against, and very enjoyable, regardless of how it goes. This position, my opponent is doing sort of all the right things, and I mean, sometimes these structures are a little bit better for white, but mostly they aren't. It very much depends, I think, on how quickly and if at all I will be able to push for some c3, d4 ideas. But black should be able to play d5 himself here, and then it's very, very difficult to imagine how white can ever have anything. I was planning to go maybe I should still go d4 here, because after e takes d4, I can take with the knight. I'm sure he's planning. He thought e4. Yeah, like if I take with the pawn here, he goes knight b4, and it's kind of awkward for my queen to find good squares. But if I can do this and not blunder anything on the queen side in the immediate future, like takes rook b4 is currently actually worrying me more than a little bit. But if I can somehow stabilize without losing any material on the queen side, I should maybe have a little bit of a push. I want to play a4, and it's one of those situations where you don't need to convince yourself very hard to do something that you want to do. It just feels logical. I didn't want to allow c5 and then have to retreat to some weird squares with my knight on d4. And now we should probably keep these knights on. Once again, I need to make sure I don't blunder some kind of knight h5 after knight f3 and don't lose my central pawns. Maybe knight e2 is slightly smarter. But it feels wrong. It feels like this knight belongs on f3. So once again, let's not overthink it. And the main reason these positions occasionally are slightly better for white is the safer king. But yeah, how much of a factor it is in this particular case, I don't know. e5 is a little bit of a hasty move, but I really did not enjoy the idea of him playing queen g6 on the next move here. So I decided to kind of push the agenda. Now my center is under attack, and I need to figure out if I have a good tactical way of dealing with it. Maybe not. Maybe it's just not great. I'm lacking a tempo to here to actually have a decent position. It feels like I need to. With the rook already on e1, for instance, I would feel a lot better about life. But that's kind of obvious. I'm trying to see if I can do something quirky here. Maybe I can actually. This is an interesting trap if it comes off. If he takes on f4, I can play g3. And somewhat surprisingly, the only square the queen can go to is back to f7. And then I have knight g5, which appears to win the queen. And if he doesn't do that, it gives me a tempo to think about my next ideas. Like I can perhaps finally play g3 or look at some other options. Queen d3 takes a6. Yeah, this is the line I was kind of hoping for. The resulting position is still not very clear, but it should be at least slightly better for me. But he will definitely have compensation for the queen there because he will have a rook, a knight, and a pawn for it. But it's I'm very proud of this trick because it's not often that you actually win a queen that is sort of in the center of the board like this. Queen takes f3 actually maybe is the best choice he has here, and I'm not even sure I'm better after it because the knight from d7 will come to e5 and support the rook on f3 quite well. I got an oops message from my opponent. I don't think he should be oopsing me here. His position is still perfectly fine. I understand he probably missed g3, but game very much continues. There's no reason for him to, despair. So it's a perfectly okay position. Yeah, I think queen takes f3 was stronger. And here, I think I just figured out exactly how I wanted to proceed. I think it involved queen g6 in some fashion. I'm just trying to remember if I wanted to take with the rook or with the knight. I think this is what I've settled on, and now we go eg, cg, and queen g6. And we pick up at least one of those pawns, giving us things to play against on the king side. But yeah, as mentioned, this is, I mean, the game is very much still on. These knights are going to be a problem. Oh no, okay, queen g6. I actually kind of misunderstood just how strong the move I just made was, because only later I realized I was threatening queen e8, queen c6, not just queen e8 check. But yeah, this is still not not an automatically winning position by any means, because the rook on the b file is extremely annoying. I need to get my king to safety. Knight 5d3, though. I just completely missed knight 5d3 here. I need to get my king to some sort of safety here. Like, I would very much like for it to be on h3. But if I go king g2 here, he goes knight d3 anyway, and I'm kind of stuck. Yeah, this is... I don't know how much better I actually am here. Which feels slightly unfair, but there you go. I don't know why he didn't play knight d3, but I'm kind of operating under the assumption that knight d3 will happen on the next move, and that I need to prepare for it somehow. And basically, I think my plan here has to involve trading at least one pair of knights. And this was the plan. If this now somehow loses, I will be very sad, but I don't currently see how. So I will just play this and see where it leads me. It looks very shaky. I mean, it looks, yeah, this is the absolute best case scenario for me, obviously, if he just decides not to try to refute my idea. Um, I'm not sure after knight, even after knight c4, I really am not sure I was much better. I spent more or less the entire day today playing one knight of three in the charity blitz and not really getting much of anywhere. So I'm kind of back to the more usual things for me. I don't know if this is great. This might not be the best idea in the world. But once again, if my opponent declines to try and punish me for it, I think it should be quite okay. Let's just go 95 and have the option of picking up that bishop whenever we want. Unless he goes rook e8, then I think whenever we want is immediately. But if he does something like a waiting move like that, we can definitely wait ourselves and maybe even include b3. This is sort of an ideal case, an absolutely ideal case scenario for these setups with knight h3, knight f4, because I need to have a good reply to a4. I should probably still think about my moves here, such as, sad as that idea is, it probably is still advisable to actually pay attention. I guess I need to start with something like rook e1, rook b1, and only then start any aggressive action in the center to make sure I don't blunder the pawn on e2 and a4, rook b1. I think this is a strange move. Does he want to play queen d4 or something? Maybe he does want to play queen d4, but I'm not unhappy about it. I can go queen c1 and ask him why he thought that was such a great idea. I don't quite understand queen f6. I think probably including a4, a takes b3 is pretty much always useful for black. In order for the rook on a8 to make more sense. I can also take and go like rook e d1 here, also looks very strong, and then knight b5. Looks like it gives me a very large advantage as well. But let's keep the queens on. Sort of on general principles of attempting to have more of that fun everybody is talking about. Not sure if I know exactly what that is, but people keep mentioning it. Yeah, we're sort of back in control here. I don't know if queen c3 is required, but it looks like it. Like I can start with knight f4. Let's check what he does after queen c3 and proceed after the reply. Actually, after queen h6, no, the pawn h3 is still not hanging. We still have time to play something like rook a d1 if we want. f6. I would like to take on f6, but I don't think it's correct. So I would have to do something more restrained. Queen takes f6 was a very strong move after f6. But now he probably should. I feel like now is the time to actually start limiting the bishop on b2. It's a little bit too strong here. I probably go knight f4, he goes bishop f7, and then we need to find a way to make progress. I currently don't see any, but it is still a much more pleasant position for white to play than it is for black. So can go, I don't know, e4 and then h4 or something. Just continue pushing our spatial advantage. Maybe bishop c1 might become a topic of conversation at some point. This knight can go back. We're not really interested in trading any pieces for him. Let's just grab sort of all this. Yeah, knight c5 here is. I'm annoyed I've allowed that. I thought I was sort of winning by force here, but I'm not, and it's now bugging me. It's still a very pleasant position, but I blundered the pawn on e4. I am very annoyed about this, though. Yeah, that's not great. Maybe there's a tactical way to justify it, but maybe not. I'm very annoyed about this. Whoa, queen takes g3, knight f2 mate. Okay, and that, whoa, and we got forgiven by our opponent here. I just blundered mate into his checks, and that invitation was declined, which is how you win blitz games, obviously. Well, win is maybe a bit strong because I still need to avoid getting flagged here. Which I may or may not manage. But yeah, blundering mate in 2 is probably something I shouldn't be doing in the main tournament. I suspect. It's a good thing that people generally don't believe that I've blundered something as big as that, which leads me to, save more of these positions than you would think possible. I don't know. This is probably not great, but we've kind of locked this in now. I don't think I actually have a repertoire against knight of 3 b3. This is probably not the refutation of it, though, because, whoa, yeah, that's a mistake. I should not be allowing knight g5 in this position. That's quite clear. You should go on bishop b6 after they've gone knight e1, of course. I think d4 is not that threatening, so I don't need to play actively against it. I could be wrong, but currently I think I have an adequate response to it by taking and taking with the bishop. I don't really care about the b7 pawn. I mean, white is fine, but so should be black. There's also bishop takes c4 in this position, which is kind of ambitious, but might be good for all we know. It is very ambitious, though. He goes rook e1, queen d2, it becomes annoying. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. He probably goes knight e4 here, and we probably need to take and go knight d4 ourselves. That is something you more or less never do with these positions with white, I'm pretty sure. That never ends up being a good decision. And yeah, and now I feel like suddenly, for no reason whatsoever, I should be close to winning, which is kind of bizarre. I mean, I'm much better after queen g5, just going for this endgame, but feels kind of what to call it. Yeah, and this is a bad move. I should not have played this. This is quite clearly a wrong approach here. I don't also like. I think my opponent uh, kind of. He might still be okay because of just how poor my previous move was, but I think preserving the the issue here is with the queen on f6, this would have been much better for black, but with the queen still on d8 and no path to the f6 square, I could be actually in quite some trouble. Yeah, starting with g5 is this sequence has been kind of horrendous by me. It is very, very difficult now to dig my pieces out of this corner. I'm surprised he hasn't gone rook e1. I think you more or less always have to play rook e1 in positions like this just to start fighting for the open files as soon as possible. And now we've managed to kind of blockade at least some of his play. I think I can even afford to take with the knight, question mark. I'm not entirely sure about this, but like I have this tactic and I want to try it. And after queen d2, my intention was to play knight g6 and then get that knight either back or maybe even to f4. Probably just back because I don't want to give up on the e file. Yeah, let's just put it back. It looks better on f4, but then he goes rook e1 and yeah, maybe I should have paid more attention here because I've allowed something I probably shouldn't have allowed, but we have other ways of activating our pieces apart from my plan was to go rook e7 and then trade the rooks, and those endgames would be quite scary for white because the queen and knight obviously are stronger than queen and bishop. But yeah, this endgame is bad. This endgame is very, very bad. And with that, we've actually won all three of the prescribed Banter games, but one of them I should not have been anywhere near.
All right. Hi, Peter. This is Pascal Charbonneau joining for the very short interview following the Banter Blitz. I know you have had a busy day of chess and really a busy period of chess. It seems like in this pandemic, you have increased your online chess a lot. Am I right?
Yeah, I've noticed like some of it has been commentary, which I'm very used to. Not in this mode. I generally do commentary from studios and not from home, but it's not unheard of. But the amount of competitive online blitz and rapid I've played in the past month is very shocking to me. Not since like the golden days of ICC have I played this much online blitz.
And you had
I'm beginning to enjoy it, which is even more alarming.
Yeah, it's starting to be harder to consider you an underdog like you always say you are after you won the Pepe Divis Invitational here, and some of those players are coming back. So, but you still seem to talk of yourself as the underdog. Do you actually believe it?
Well, depending on the field. In the event I'm playing in right now, the Charity Blitz, obviously the sporting component of that is not hugely important, but it also features you know, 8 players who are either 2700 now or have been at some point in their lives. So all of us are hugely competitive, and at some point those juices really start flowing. But in that event, I felt like I should be in the top half, and I was kind of unhappy with how the first day went, and a lot happier with how the day went today. I played some of the, you know, I played well today, I think, and I don't say that very often. It was still blitz. There were still some lost positions that I won, but I think all in all, I did quite well.
And how has pandemic life been for you? I know, at least according to the news, things in Russia have gone a little bit worse since I last spoke with you. But you're in St. Petersburg, which maybe is a little bit less than Moscow.
Yeah, it does seem like most of it is concentrated in Moscow, which is understandable because Moscow is by far the most important hub in the country and the place that most of the travel is being done to and from. So you could see how the figures would be skewed that way. But Moscow also is the city best prepared in the country to deal with anything due to like the sheer amount of resources they have. So it's difficult to judge, but I think it's still growing pretty much everywhere. So it's very tense, in particular when you consider like the older relatives. I
Yeah.
definitely have reason to worry, like for myself and my immediate family, but it's my mom and my wife's mom and generally all the people who are uh, at most risk. So
Yeah, I definitely feel the same way. And it seems like as small or as big a circle you have, we're starting to know people who have been severely affected. So, yeah, it's a serious situation. Um, I guess let's talk for a minute about the FIDE Steinitz event. It's a 3-2 time control. You like the time controls with the increment in general. I
yeah,
think
I'm
you've said.
very much in favor of 3-2. I think 3-2 is a good control. I don't mind it one bit.
What about Steinitz? I guess it's his birthday. You're maybe one of the people in the field that we would think knows more about Steinitz than some of the young
Well,
guns.
like I definitely, part of any kind of a Soviet, and I mean, I caught the back end of the proper Soviet chess education. Uh, the books you would read when you were young would deal at length with the World Championships and the history of the World Championships, and um, they were part of my upbringing as well. But I've stated some things on the topic of Steinitz and his relationship with his contemporaries recently, and I wouldn't say I got kind of shut down by Twitter. That I think would be overstating things a little bit, but I definitely received some replies which seemed to suggest that maybe I should kind of revisit my position, because it is very very dated to the times when I was like 8 or 10, and for me, like in the Steinitz Chigorin matches, I very much identified with Chigorin because he is like the patron saint of St. Petersburg chess,
Yeah.
and it felt to me like Chigorin was playing the interesting, dynamic, romantic chess, and Steinitz was the sort of the direct opposite, who somehow prevailed, possibly because Chigorin drank a little bit too much. Uh, so uh, so yeah, I suspect my views would change if I actually went in and studied Steinitz closer. They aren't very up to date.
Circling back to the tournament, how do you approach preparing for a blitz tournament? Do you look at your opponents? Is it more just figuring out in your head what openings you might want to play in different scenarios? Do you
I've
try to
never
avoid theory,
actually
play
done
in
that.
theory?
I've
Huh?
never actually done that, but some of the people who have had the most success in these arenas, and I think Sasha Grishuk would be like a perfect example for me, because uh, I think originally he picked up the London specifically as something he would play in Rapid and Blitz tournaments, and he later, of course, played it in serious chess as well, because work never goes to waste. Whatever work you do as a chess player never entirely goes to waste. You can always find ways to use it. But uh, I know of people who actually have like a specific blitz repertoire which works for them because they like the resulting positions. It also saves them the trouble of having to think on early moves, which saves you time going forward. But it's never been my approach, and as with many other things in chess, I feel like maybe I'm missing out on something. It's quite likely I'm missing out on something, but with less than 24 hours to go, no, it's not actually that. It's less than 48 hours to go, but I haven't actually finished playing in the charity thing yet. I'm not going to change dramatically from my normal MO, which is try to get a good night's sleep and play whatever feels right, not even on the day, but well, sort of in that specific game.
Okay. Well, it seems like whatever you're doing is kind of working. So maybe there's
It
no
is
there's no need
sort
to
of
change
working,
that.
yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how well actually.
All right. Well, on this note, well, let's leave on an optimistic way. I wish you good luck. Good luck in the charity event, and also good luck in the Steinitz. And thanks for joining us for this little Banter Blitz and interview.
It's been a pleasure. See you there.